will do a live on YouTube. That doesn't happen normally, but hey, we do live. I know it's late in the United States, but I will do a live for first time in YouTube without any, planning or whatever I will talk about. But I'll do a live. Hopefully people look at it and listen to it and can share the message. And of course, I'm not English speaking, fluent English, so if I say something that you not understand 100%, yeah, I will try to explain later. But what we'll talk about is yes, guess what? What do we talk about? We talk about diseases all over the place, diseases, and all the shit people eat today, and all the things, like medication. Yes, of course, medication. That's a good thing. The medication. And now in Sweden and also in the United States, we can talk about those two countries. We have something that's called Viego, Ozempic, whatever the name of this medication is. And in Sweden, everyone wants Ozempic now that are a little bit obese or very obese, and they think that is the savior for all people. And we have in Sweden we have a state healthcare system, and they do not prescribe this for overweight normally. So there is private clinics that prescribe this GLP-1 inducer, enhancer, whatever you call it. But we'll talk about a little bit of secret stuff here of this Ozempic, because people doesn't have the Ozempic deficiency. That's the main problem. You don't have it, so you don't need it. And of course, it uses as a diabetic medication. Medication. Of course, it's not a medication for people that gone too far to this diabetic trauma. And of course, they maybe need it because they have not managed to keep them, get the diabetic away. So this thing that calls diabetes, it's in Swedish terms, the type 2 is more or less sugar disease, we call it in Sweden. We did that before, and it's what it is. It's a sugar disease. People eat too much carbs, and that's overloading the system, and you will get diabetes. Make it very simple. And diabetes type 2, of course, there is some people that have some genes. It's making more, easy to get this diabetes. But that doesn't mean that you get it from eating normal food. You maybe have genes that you have, from your ancestors that make it, what can we say like this, inappropriate to eat more than food. And that's the main problem. You will not get or catch diabetes type 2 if you stick to real food, meat. So it's more or less impossible to get diabetes if you don't eat loads of carbs. That's the main problem. But now we have Ozempic and all the friends to this medication. We have different brands in Sweden. And there is a problem with this Ozempic that people doesn't think of. About 30% of the weight loss you get with Ozempic, because you will get weight loss, is lean mass, and most of that is bone loss and muscle loss. And the muscle loss is also affecting your heart. And you think that is good? Nope. So if you was like me when I was the heaviest in my life, you started taking Ozempic. I don't want a weak heart, I want a stronger heart. So you take an Ozempic, good luck with your heart. It's a terrible mistake to take Ozempic to fix weight loss, because it will not be sustainable. You're ending up with a weak skeleton, and you ending up with a weak heart, and you get less muscles. What is good with that? But I will come to a secret now. There is a natural way to create the same effect that Ozempic does to your body. You can do it with food. And I have tried out everything that is possible, but I find out that animal fat, especially from pigs, in Europe we have we can use something that name from Italy. Its name is lardo. Lardo, it's back fat from a pig that is from pigs going outside. That fat is a nutrition bomb. It contains vitamin D, a lot of vitamin D. If you eat 100 grams of lardo each day, you get about 40,000 international units of vitamin D. That means you don't need to eat supplement, and you can probably share my last test I did at the blood work, and my vitamin D level is freaking high, not super high, but it's in upper limiter, the upper limit what is healthy, what they say healthy. And I've not been sick for 3 years since I started eating like this and added that fat. But the little secret now for you people, if you stick to ketovore or carnivore and you think you want to stop overeating, I would recommend you to buy some kind of pork fat. I prefer lardo, but you can eat from different countries, but as long as more or less only fat. The more animal fat it is, the better it is. And you don't eat any carbs, but 1 hour before you will eat your main meal, eat 100 grams, 50 to 100 grams of lardo, pork fat. You can even use ghee. That's probably a little bit, it's not that easy to eat that fat. But you can eat pork fat, or even tallow. We call that lard, pork fat. But eat that 1 hour before the main meal. And that doesn't matter, if you eat a keto or carnivore or ketovore or lion diet, as long as you don't put in carbs. What will happen with your body is that with that amount of fat, 50 to 100 grams, I don't know the answer for that, but you have to check it up. 50 to 100 grams of fat, 1 hour before the main meal. That will not affect your insulin level. It will not affect if you are in fasting, because fat doesn't break the fast. But what will happen that you will naturally get your gastric to create GLP-1. So you can't overeat. It's practical, impossible. So if you start eating fat before your main meal, the main meal should not contain carbs, because all the fat you get from this will disappear immediately. But you will get naturally GLP-1 from eating animal fat. So if you think about that, you don't need expensive needles to put in your stomach. You just eat fat before you meal, the normal fat, and you will get natural GLP-1. And that's why people overeating, even the fat people there, they overeat because they're eating carbs. Stop eating carbs, eat fat before the main meal, and then you have your problem solved. You will not be able to overeat. It's impossible. So start your meal 1 hour before and eating fat. That will make it impossible. That's the secret. And there is science behind this too. So I'm not talking shit, this is science. They have tested this, and they even use olive oil. And olive oil has similar effect on the body as tallow. Tallow and olive oil gives the longer GLP-1. So it will keep your satiety very, very long time. While lard give a pretty high spike in GLP-1. Even ghee or butter gives a pretty high spike, but tallow and olive oil will give a very long lasting, satiety feeling. So what people is deficiency is fat in the food, and they overeat carbs. But this thing, if you don't eating carnivore or ketovore or lion diet or whatever you call it, and you add potato, this GLP-1 is disappearing immediately. If you're eating carbs to this, it disappears, this GLP-1 immediately. That means that the carbs make you hungry. So don't eat carbs when you're eating meat. Don't eat carbs in any occasion. You don't need it. Eat fat and protein as one meal. Should you ever eat carbs, do it separately. Don't mix food. It's not a good thing to energy sources. I will say that carbs in a way is of course energy for the body, but it doesn't mean that you should or should not mix carbs with fat. They are not the same thing for the body, and it will disrupt your system and your energy balance. You had a random cycle. It will be fucked up totally if you mix these two fuel. Stay away from mixing food. It doesn't matter what type of food you eat or the diet or whatever you call it. Don't mix two energy sources. Never. It's better to eat your fucking carbs naked than mixing it with fat. That's a terrible idea to do. Because the sugar, the carbs that you maybe eat will create more hunger. And you can overeat. But as long as you don't mix carbs in, you will get natural GLP-1, and it will make you satiety very quick. You will feel no hunger whatsoever. So we don't have a medication deficiency. We don't need this medication because there is no medications that will heal your body, that will make you less sick. All the medication that exist can only dampen the deficient, the sickness you have. So you cannot cure diabetes with Ozempic. You can, push forward the death, because you will die in diabetes. If you don't take care of type 2 diabetic, you will die from it earlier. So all this medication people use for the diabetes type 2, it's only you're pushing all the problems a couple of years ahead, instead of cutting out all the carbs, and you will be done with it. I've been carnivore for 6 years now, and when I started this journey in 2019, I was severe obese, or we'll say morbid obese, and of course I have a high HbA1c. I was more or less starting to evolve to get the diabetes type 2. And today, I'm not having diabetes, or pre-diabetes. In US terms, if you look at the measurement I had 2019, I had diabetes. Because Europe, especially Sweden, we have different scale, but we have, what we say is diabetic in Sweden is a bit higher. All measurement, we can allow it to go higher. But if you check the United States, they started diabetic much earlier, you know, where you are in your blood sugar and HbA1c. So I had diabetes. Today, not even close. I did the new tests. Let's see, it was 11 days ago, and this test I done showing that all of my diseases, everything I had problem with, is gone. It's totally disappeared now. This paper was so, the blood samples, you know, every measurement was so good. So the doctors says nothing about it. He says I have very little chance to get heart disease, you know, the inflammation does not exist. I live more or less all my life with a high CRP, you know, C-reactive protein. It's always been 10, 11, 15, 20, around there, because the inflammation about it. From, you know, I have, you know, a Santa Claus wish list with diseases from early age. And this time it was more or less, you could not detect any inflammation. This was kind of what diet do to you. Yeah, no inflammation whatsoever. And all the blood works, you know, the blood sugar, low. We don't have the same measurement system in Sweden, so as if you compare to United States, we use millimole instead of milligram per deciliter. That means if you put out the numbers, you need to convert them if you don't live in Sweden. But I think HbA1c should be around 4.7 or 4.6 in US measurement. I am on the lowest scale of A1C. No, I have, I think it's 1 point more than I started getting under the reference area from being on the top before. So vitamin D level in United States measurement, I can convert it. It's, I think it's around 92. And in Sweden it's 190. We have different scales. So it's way better than I believe should be, you know, what it would be just on animal fat. Before the last test I did 1.5 years ago, I used also supplement to get my vitamin D level up. And it was a little bit higher than 262 nanomole. That's equal around 106 in the United States, and that's a bit high. Not very dangerous because all the other measurement looks good. You know, I have no calcium in the blood. But now the last test is showing absolutely stunning blood work for someone that turning 50 years old this year. So I have a couple of months left and I turn 50 years old. I cannot believe it myself. I look in the mirror because it doesn't look like I'm 50 years old, except for the beard is not black. But the skin, people don't, you know, the most people see me in real life, they think I'm looking like more 40, 41, 42 maximum. This is their judgment, not mine. They say, you don't look like that, or because I have no wrinkles, skin is smooth. And this happened when I changed the diet. So the skin is, you know, is healing. It's make my skin look, I would say, more or less 10, 15 years younger, just by eating the right food. Hopefully you hear what I say, but because it's a bit noisy in the car. But this was a long time ago since I did a live on YouTube. So I think I will do this, you know, in the car because I go into the work now. It's a bit early. So, but people believe now today are all around that we have some kind of Ozempic deficiency. or whatever medication you think you should eat. And something I can also tell you is before I need to use, truckloads of salts, electrolytes. What it looks like today, I do not need to eat that anymore. I actually don't supplement any electrolytes more or less the last half year. And because I eat more or less the raw meat, I get all the electrolytes from the meat. So I stopped, the first, I started doing this high electrolyte intake is because I needed it. I could eat like 25 to 40 grams of salt every day, and this is impossible. I don't need it. So something happened in the body last year, last 12, maybe 16 months. I stopped sweating. I stopped, pushing out all the electrolytes. I don't need to drink that much water anymore. So I may be drinking 1 liter, 1.5 liter of water. That's amount of maybe, let's say, a half gallon water maximum. But something happened in the body, so it started pushing out electrolytes. Before I need to supplement. So probably this is something the body goes through, and and after clearing out all the shit in the body, oxalates, whatever you call it, because oxalate dumping is for real. If I know today if I know that, I'm not going through all the fasting I did with the diet, and had read about the oxalate dumping, I maybe would done this a little bit more easier for my body. But I pushing I flat out my gas pedal to the bottom, and I need to fix this to get rid of my the morbid obesity. So I did a lot of fasting for 1.5 years, and also I had fasted now from January to last week, 4 days per week. And the weight loss the last 6 months, guess what? No, 0 kilo. No weight loss, even if I did 4 days fasting every week for half a year. But something else happened in the body. I started gaining muscles. So they say, some people, oh, you can't fast because it's not good, you will drop muscle mass. That's stupid. Because when I eat, I'm growing muscles. So if I look at the measurement the last 6 months, I dropped 25 centimeters around the waist, but no weight loss. That means something has happened to the body composition. And what happened? Yes, of course, I gained muscles. So I'm sorry for that. I want to drop the last weight. Of course not. I work pretty hard at my work, a lot of extra time, and it's physical, very physical work some days. And I actually run aids around the younger people around my work. They are not a chance in my pace in work. And I feel like I'm like 20 years old in the body. And this is the food, they need to eat. You constantly eat sugar. The other people I work with, they eat something that is sugary, and they get headache easy, they're tired. And I am, the last 6 months, I work from Tuesday to Friday without any food. Full days, even extra time. No food. And just work. And they cannot, coming up to my pace at work. So, do we need to eat food every day? Absolutely not. That's, a myth. You don't need to eat food every day. Even if you are normal weight, you do not need to eat food every day. That's a pure myth. Humans, when we evolved back in time, we didn't eat food every day. Food was something we need to fight for every day. Therefore, normally for humans is fasting. Fasting is a normal state. Fasting is prepare your body for food. Fasting is helping your body to solve problem. Fasting is the key to your health. The food is to build up the body between the fasting. So if people just adapt fasting, I don't say that you need to fast, 2 days or 3 days if you normal weight, but it's not dangerous for you. As long as you will eat proper amount of protein and fat when you eat. Fasting 2 days has not enough single negative thing for your body. It will be perfectly fine to do fasting. And if you learn your body to fast more and more and more, and together with food, you will keep your weight. You will never go up. The fasting will always, equal out any excess amount of food when you eat. So fasting in natural states, and if you eat proper amount of fat, you will not be hungry. That's main thing. If you think I'm hungry when I do fasting 4 days per week, I did fasting from Monday evening to Friday evening every week for a half year now, and I work full time. Do you think I ever been hungry a bit this time? No. I have even not have hurry to go home to eat, and people think, do you not get refeeding syndrome when start eating after 4 days? Sometimes, yes, you need to toilet one time and it's over. But most of the time, if you eat something little first and you wait 1 hour and then you eat normally after 1 hour, not a single problem. You can always end your fast a couple of hours before, starting run, give a little bit of half an egg or something, bit hard cheese, just something for the body to, start to push out, things to break down the foods. You're starting, release chemicals in your body, I would say like this, and need to start up your system. So if you take a little easy 1 or 2 hours before the main meal, you will have no problem. And I've done this now for half a year, 4 days every week. Before that, I did fasting for 1.5 years with a carnivore diet, and a 1.5 year of fasting equal that I fasted almost 22 days per month. Totally to 22 days per month for 1.5 year. And this was strict fast. The 1.5 year I did was strict fast without any supplements except electrolytes. Then I come to the conclusion after eating like that because I have an MTHFR mutation, actually 2 of them, I get very low on vitamin B1 or thiamine. So I started doing supplements from 1 year ago when I do fasting, and this help a lot. So I will not go through that again without any supplements if I do a lot of fasting. I recommend people, taking some multivitamin if you can, because you do fasting. If you fast a lot, it's not normally, it's not something you will make in nature when if you look at the ancestors, they didn't fast 7 days and eating 2 days and go back to 7 days fast. They try to eat maybe at least one, every second day or every third day. So doing a lot of fasting to get weight loss, it sets your body in different mode, and you maybe need to supplement a bit so you get not stressing the body too much. Yep, that was all. I will not continue to talk because I'm soon at work, and hopefully you get a very nice day or night, depending where you live. I was not prepared for doing this. I just maybe do live on YouTube. hopefully you hear what I say also. You know, the sound can be a little bit rough because of the noise in the car, but we'll see if it works. Otherwise I will raise it. But yeah, a little bit free talk about Ozempic and what you can do instead. So maybe I will try to learn to do a short video about this natural way to induce the Ozempic effect from fat, because you can do it. Fat is the natural source of energy to make your satiety very quick. So enough fat, you cannot overeat anything else, as long as you stay away from carbs. So no. And I am at work, so I will stop this live, and thank for everyone that maybe look into this channel. It was a long time since I did any live. Of course, English is not my fluent language, but it will work. Most people understand what I talk about. Maybe I'm not doing that the proper way, but I try. Swedish is my normal, so I will, if I try to start working with the channel more, and I would probably make Swedish and English live. One strictly Swedish, one strictly English. So bye bye.